What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Friends of Mortgage Heroes. I'm Andy, and today I have with me a very impressive young man. Yes, emphasize the impressive part and also emphasizing the young part. I have Noah Burroughs in the house with the Sand Scrubs. Noah, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Is your
Thank
arm
you.
okay? I just realized I asked
Still
you
attached.
to
We're all good.
well, you were recently in a car accident, man. Are you okay?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
you're here, but how are you
yeah.
actually?
Actually, still have shoulder pains coming down, numbness in the hands, the feet, the pelvis was bruised, legs are
Oh,
still
geez.
sore, and then had shoulder surgery February 20th, so I'm still recovering
Oh
from
my
that
gosh.
moving
And I'm over here
forward.
asking you for a fist bump. I could have come up with a better way out the gate to do that. Oh my God. Well, thank you for coming all the way down here. I know we live like in opposite ends of the county here, but thank you for making the trek all the way down here. You and I were introduced by a mutual friend who's also been a guest on this show, Cody.
Mhm.
And I wanted to shout out his episode. If you haven't watched Cody's episode, he is a master at NLP and communicating. Go back and watch that. If you're in sales, you're in training, you're in a nonprofit world, you raise money, you lead people, you're a supervisor, you're a manager, you're a director, you own a business, you could learn something from watching and listening to Cody. So thank you, Cody, for setting this up. And Noah, thanks for making it down here. And so Sand Scrubs
Mhm.
is your pressure washing business.
Yes, sir.
And I know pressure washing as an industry has been growing over the last couple of years.
Mhm.
Well, to me, I've seen it. I know it's been around for a lot longer than that. But you're young, dude. How old are you?
I'm 20. I turned 21 May 4th, so I got like a month left. So,
That is wild.
yeah.
And how long have you been in business?
Just over 3 years.
So
So,
since you're 18, basically, or
yeah.
17. Is
Yeah,
it 17 you
17. I was
started?
17. We had the idea when I was 16, started when I was 17, and kind of took off from there in a way I never even expected it to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and we're going to talk about the we part right away. So let's get to the we part. We equals who?
My father and I. So we started the company actually originally together, and just last year he kind of passed the company over fully to me, and we're bringing on a new business partner named Glenn Danoon. So
Yeah.
phenomenal man as well.
Awesome. And so your dad, let's talk about his background a little bit because it does relate to what we do here at Mortgage Heroes with active duty military and veterans. So your father was a veteran. Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, so he served in the Navy for 20 years, non-compliant boardings, human trafficking, fire department aspect behind it. He was on more ships than I can count and traveled the entire world, but he honestly was the reason that I started a business and the inspiration to just kind of keep moving forward and see what you can do in life. You never know what it is if you don't try. So.
What was it like? I mean, I know lots has changed as an adult in his later 40s. A lot has changed during my lifetime in technology and the way we look at business and even the way we look at service in the military. What was it like? Did you guys move around a lot? Were you kind of stationed in one place? What was it like for you? You know, you're only 20, but what was it like for you growing up with that lifestyle?
Yeah, so I was honestly very lucky compared to most veteran children is we were able to stay in San Diego. So he did all his traveling before I was actually born, and then there was a little bit while I was born, but I was so young that I don't remember it. My uncle, who actually served in the military with him, he isn't my biological uncle, but he took care of my mother, sister, and I for a little while my dad was over in deployment. So I was very lucky. But then once he retired in 2011, he worked at what was called 32nd Street down on the military base. And I used to go down there with him all the time, train the guys on how to disassemble firearms, how to clean them, and just everything on that fun aspect you wouldn't expect when you're like 8 to 12 years old. So
Yeah.
I definitely got some fun experiences
Yeah.
growing up, but I'm definitely blessed to be able to have a father like he is. He created a generational change, just everything he put into me. So.
Now, how aware were you when you were that young and you're doing these activities? Like, do you remember being like conscious, like, hey, I don't know that my friends are doing this kind of thing? Or was it just like, oh, this is what I do? And you had no idea, like, a bigger perspective?
Yeah, no, I was definitely conscious of it. When I'd go to school, friends would kind of ask me, "So, what'd you guys do?" And I was like, "Oh, I just tore down a firearm with a bunch of guys and instructed them, and we were swearing left and right, like you didn't clean this properly, and going back and forth." And they're like, "What?" So definitely caught some people off guard, but it was just kind of my normal life, just growing up around it, and it was incredible.
Yeah. What were your friends doing on the weekend? Playing video games and skateboarding and all that?
Yeah, yeah, they were doing everything you'd expect them to. I was doing that with him and then also playing baseball for 11 years.
Yeah.
So he was actually my coach in a lot of the baseball that I played. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I really I love that because I was able to be raised by my father playing baseball as well, and he was my coach for the whole time I played, all the way even in through high school.
Oh, wow.
He was more of an assistant coach in high school because to be honest, no, I got to that age where it's like I wasn't hearing him anymore. So he'd like tell the head coach or another coach, and I'm like, oh, okay, great idea. And I'm like, oh, it's still him talking, but they're the ones saying it. Okay. I was just that kid. Hey, I'm just admitting I was that kid, man. Do you have fond memories about growing up playing ball and have your dad being coach?
Oh, I mean, the best. Honestly, I look back at my office. I don't have it on camera when I'm there, but to the left of me, it's the photo of him and I when he was my coach. I mean, he was on a coach for me probably over 15 different teams that I played on. We used to travel across the U.S. playing different tournaments, which a lot of them we won like the top gold brackets, and he was always there either in uniform or in the stands, just cheering me on. And with that moment, as you would know, when you're going up to bat, and next thing you know, you just hear your father or someone yell out your name, like, "You got this!" Like, keep your head down, and just the best memories. Those are the ones I can just go on and on and on about. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So at what point, like, how do you remember a specific instance in life, or what age were you when you were like, I want to go into business, I want to be an entrepreneur, because it's emerging as like I'll say the younger crop of people, like
Mhm.
becoming a self-employed person or entrepreneur or chasing down something that you want to like self-define as your margins and your rules and when you work and when you don't, all this like that is definitely hitting a new level of like peakness compared to when people like me were your age.
Yeah.
Even just 20 and 25 years ago, there was not this much enthusiasm for it.
Mhm.
I have some reasons I think that's changed, but for you, when did that like really kick in and you were like, I'm gonna go be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so a little bit of backstory behind that. When I was probably 12 or 13 years old in my neighborhood, I was doing gardening work, things I never thought were entrepreneurial because I was never on social media at that point in my life. My parents were like, no social media at this time. I had one of those nice little flip phones and had no clue that people were doing this, but I was going around my neighborhood, knocking on doors, my parents were posting in the Facebook group saying, hey, if you need gardening done. I also helped a few single mothers who had lost their husbands throughout the military from either suicide or just overseas casualties, unfortunately. And I'd help them around their house, take care of things, move things. So it's the little things that kind of built up into eventually me working at In-N-Out and Coral Mountain and Chick-fil-A and Forest Ranch. And as I was there, I was like, wow, these places are really dirty. That's when on social media, I saw Andrew Tate, a guy named Ismail Emangatsi, and Andrew Tate. Those are the two people that I saw a lot of. And I was like, oh, I don't have to necessarily just go to college. I'm in the last year of high school. And I started up the business Sandog Scrubs. And it was just incredible from where it went from there.
So what is the actual the origin date of your business?
Orange, ooh, just over 3 years ago. It was in April. I remember that. So it's just shy of 3 years
Like
right
2023?
now. Yeah,
Was it 2022 or 2023?
2022 was when
2022.
we started it, and then
Yeah.
2023 is when we were like officially legal,
Yeah.
LLC, everything moving forward from there.
So what was it like? Like, were you scared when you were starting out? Did you would have some anticipation? Were you like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? Like, there's a difference between like seeing a bunch of stuff online and you go, oh, I could do that, or I can envision myself doing that, and then you're like really doing that, and you're like, oh yeah, this. There's more to this than just the parts that you see on the screen.
Yeah, the difference is, between a business and the actual idea. Well, the idea of the business and the actual business is like 20,000 hours of work nobody ever sees. For me, it was jumping into it and going, okay, I'm going to go knock some doors, do some yard signs, some door hangers. Never thought I'd be in the real estate niche at all. That was never something I thought. And then one day, my father and I are cleaning a lady named Kim Field, biggest supporter of me, and she's an escrow officer. She invited me to a place called Scripps Ranch Caravan. And from there, it just within that year blossomed out to next thing you know, I'm doing anywhere from 10 to 20 events. Last week, I did just over 23 events in 1 week, which was most I'd ever done. Most I'd done before that was 17,
Jeez.
which for most people, they still think that's crazy.
That is a little crazy. Yeah, 17 is crazy. And you're saying 23?
Yeah, I did 9 events in one day last week on one of the days, and it's just go, and things you never expect. You get invited to podcasts, events all over the place.
Yeah, but just like this. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Well, here's one for this week.
So the foundation of the business and everything going from there was like I said, oh my gosh, this place is dirty where I'm working. How can I solve this problem? And I've been a big problem solver my entire life, especially with my dad. He's just kind of put into the blue collar aspect and get your hands dirty. And before you call someone else, do it. See if you can do it yourself. And if you don't, ask questions. So he really pushed me in ways that I never knew I could be pushed.
So because of that, did you feel like there was a big learning curve for you to be good at doing the pressure washing business, or did you feel like some of that was already baked in? You're talking about these past stories of when you're younger and you're telling people how to, like, clean their gun, disarm, take it apart, put it back together, and then you're also working in people's yards, you're moving things. So like some of the qualities of someone that becomes an entrepreneur are already like showing evidence in the past. So was it hard for you to start Sandlog Scrubs, or do you feel like it was easy?
I feel like I thought it was going to be much easier in the beginning, to be honest. And then it definitely hit some rough zones because once you can start a business, but to scale a business, you need CRMs. Nowadays, you have AI. You need to learn how to speak to people. I used to be the most shy person. Quick story about that, actually, of one of the biggest struggles was getting in front of people and speaking. My father and I had the Scripps Ranch Caravan. First time I had ever presented in front of someone besides a classroom in high school or middle school. My legs were shaking. I was so fearful. But my dad was right next to me and he put his hand on my leg and he's like, "You got this." He's like, and I was like, "You're doing most of the speaking, right?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Sure." I ended up speaking like 80-90% of the time because he knew all I had to do was get up on the stage and I'd be fine. And that's one biggest thing I learned is most people fail before they even get on the stage just because they walk home before they even go out onto the stage. So get him pushing me out there and just standing there and going, "You got this," was the most incredible thing that really sparked me going out networking.
That's awesome, man. What a cool story. But also I want to I want to take a moment to make sure I make this point for all those other young people out there. And I do mean this. If you're 25 or younger, this is for you too. And Noah, you've met my daughter Caitlin, who works here. She's also 20.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about having either a parent or a mentor, another family member, a friend, someone who believes in you at this young age and believes in your ability to actually go carry out something that's useful in the market. And I admire that. So congratulations on that. I know it's scary to stand in front of people. It's like people fear that. And some people fear standing in front of an audience talking more than they fear dying. It's insane.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's insane, but I attribute being able to be in front of people and talk or be seen or perform or whatever to playing baseball.
Yeah.
Because there's 9 dudes on the field, and when you're batting, you're the only one batting. Like everyone's watching you.
Mhm.
And when I was a kid, I didn't think of it that way. But now I'm like older. I'm like, oh, I've been used to people watching me strike out or get beamed or hit a double or hit a home run for my whole life.
Yeah.
And then they go, why is it so easy for you to be in front of camera? I'm like, I actually been in front of people my entire life. It's the craziest thing because I don't think about it that way. But
Yeah. It's funny you say that because I've never actually thought about that before. And with me traveling across the US, being in so many different tournaments,
yeah.
facing against so many different people, I've never thought about that, but that's so true. Wow.
Yeah, well, and then there's the point that if you're being recruited, like they're literally recruiting you. They're judging whether they want you or don't want you. You're being like accepted or rejected, like live in real time. And they'll send you a letter later if they want you, but then they don't send a letter if they don't.
Yeah.
But so when I was 14, I started playing drums. And I was playing drums in a music group where I was like the only drummer.
Mhm.
And it's a whole group of people. And we would go to competitions and we'd like you win or you lose or you get first, second, third, or like no place at all. And you're in front of a couple hundred or thousands of people. And it didn't like dawn on me that like, oh, I'm doing this public facing thing. I'm basically public speaking, but with my music.
Yeah.
And it's made all these things I do now a lot easier. So it doesn't surprise me that like you leave, the leg might be shaken. You're like, oh, I'm going to go stand up and talk in front of all these people.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, lastly, as an older adult, and I'm probably your father's age, actually.
He's 53.
He's 53. I'm right behind you, Pops. It's really encouraging to see young people be able to stand up in front of a group, start a business, do something that's useful, be of value, and know like there's a place for you in the economy and the market as well. Because man, so many kids your age, they're just checking out, dude. They're just punching out. Like I don't even know what to do. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go, who to talk to, whatever. But I'm just so encouraged by being introduced to you, and then finding out that we actually know a lot of other common people. And I'm like, oh, all these dudes are hitters. So I'm not surprised. At the same time, I'm congratulating you. So
Yeah. One thing I will say about the younger generation that I've noticed firsthand is with all these networking events, there's such a little amount of people who actually even know about them. On top of that, most people nowadays are either buying a course online that they don't actually know what to do with. They're spending money left and right on food when in actuality they could be investing in their future. They just don't know what to do. And there's so many different things nowadays that they can choose from that they don't know what to choose from. It's like there's a story I heard about a shoemaker, and you may have heard about this. And most people are like, okay, there's this shoe, and there's a whole rack of them. The guy will only let people have 2 to 3 shoes in front of them at a time, because if they have any more, they end up just walking out of the store because they have too many options and they don't know what to choose. It's the same thing with kids nowadays. Is there's so much stuff on the internet, and then you also reflect yourself against everyone on the internet, and you're like, I'm not making $1,000 a day, I'm not making $100,000 a week, like, I'm not going to be successful. So there's so much nowadays that it feels like the whole pendulum is swinging to the left of social media AI, and there's so much gap in the blue collar market that eventually it's going to definitely swing back, and I'm already noticing that in our business right now.
So why don't you tell everybody what's working for you guys right now in this, considering the AI, considering social media, considering what's happening in blue collar and in trades, what's happening just in general with the age category you're talking about demographically. So what's working for you and for Stand Dog Scrubs right now?
For us, it's the networking.
So it's not you said you didn't, so I'm interrupting you right away. It's not the online thing first? It's the in-person thing first?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
But if you don't have the online, you wouldn't have the in-person. I wouldn't receive so many invites without the online aspect. I said the word aspect. That's my number one cue that Cody always tells me. Shout out to you, Cody. Best mentor.
Good job being aware.
So, but yeah, to get into that is with in-person networking. Nowadays, everyone's on Zoom calls. Everyone's trying to video chat. But in-person shaking is going to definitely always be number one when you can sit down, talk with someone face to face, which most people don't want to. They're okay sitting on a Zoom call with 50 people or 2 people. But when they actually get in person, they freeze up. They don't know how to speak. They don't know how to go walk up to a random stranger, introduce themselves, shake their hands, and not have a sales pitch in mind. Like just to generally go meet someone. So for us, shaking hands, getting in front of as many people as possible. And one thing Alex Hormozy said was, in a short form, in my own version, is if you're in front of so many different people, it's impossible for everyone not to know who you are if you're everywhere. Some of my friends, Ismail and Jonah, who actually would be a phenomenal person to have on this podcast next one day.
All right.
They create a video company here in San Diego. Incredible. We use them all the time. And they always talk about, like, they're pushing out social media content. They're at events. They'll be like, hey, we're at like 5 to 10 events each a week. And my buddy Jonah goes, you're at every single event that I go to, and he goes to different events. You're at every single event he goes to. How do you do this? And honestly, at the end of the day, I don't know how I do it either.
Part of it has to be because you like it. You must enjoy it. I would guess, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think partly you probably enjoy it, and also you see the outcome and the benefit of it. So then it's rewarding, and it becomes this like self-reinforcing experience. Oh, I'm gonna go to this thing. Something's gonna happen. It's good for me. I like that. Oh, where did it start? That good thing from? Oh, over at this thing. And then now you're always doing that.
And there's actually even one step back, deeper meaning to why it actually connects really big for me is in middle school and high school, I was bullied like no other. And for me, I didn't fit in. I was always called albino boy. Because I look like a walking glow stick. I'm tall, white, blonde as you can get, blue eyes. So I was very much so bullied. So with the networking world, I found that I actually fit in where I go. People love to have me around. They don't make fun of how I look, how much I stand out. But now it went from what used to be a negative in my mind to a positive. I'm like, great. I can walk into a room being 6'4" without any shoes on. With how wide I am and blonde hair, I stand out wherever I go. And
I was gonna say, you're hard to miss in a room, dude. You're tall.
It's like my superpower now in networking.
Dang.
So I found my place that I fit in, and I love it. So
wow.
I just answered my own question of why I love networking.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you literally stand out from most people in the room. There's not a lot of people that are taller than you in a room, are there?
No.
Every once in a while there'll be 1 or 2 probably, but not the majority.
Yeah, we see each other as soon as we walk in because we just block eyes over.
There's nothing blocking your view. We're just make eye contact right away. Both us over here, 6'4", 6'5". Yeah.
Yep.
Not me. No, I'm not even there. That's cool, man. So you mentioned AI. What do you think today are the use cases for AI? Where should it be used? Where should it be avoided? Where is it helping your business? Where is it hurting? Maybe not hurting your business because you're aware of, hey, I'm going to use it for this and not for that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about AI for a little bit.
Okay.
How do you think it's useful in business these days? And where would you tell people to kind of avoid it or think twice about
Mhm.
implementing it?
Hmm.
Because it's not cleaning surfaces.
Mhm.
AI is not doing pressure washing over at Chick-fil-A. You and your guys are doing that, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so you're not using it for that. What would you be using AI for?
AI for us is used in our CRM, so our customer relationship management, as instead of me texting 100 people, I can just have AI quickly message 1,000 people. What would take me hours to do, it can do in seconds. Another aspect is with content creation. People use AI in content creation to create all these crazy scripts and do everything. And it's great to some means, but when you really want to be authentic, it does not help. You have to prompt it and then run off of what it gives you, but you can't use it word for word because people nowadays can just see straight through it. Same thing with video creation. Everyone can look at it, or most people can look at videos nowadays and go, okay, that's fake. They're getting really good at it with AI, but you can kind of tell subconsciously, is
Mhm.
this real or not?
Yeah.
So in business, it's great if you're authentic and you use it to boost who you are, but not let it take over your entire brand of where everyone can look at it and just say your entire brand's made of AI. It's not actually you. You're not authentic. So
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that because I kind of I agree with what you're saying too. It's like there's ways for it to aid what you're doing, but it shouldn't be replacing you doing things.
Mhm.
There's still that human element that humans really care about. And I understand from a corporate perspective, people might want to be implementing AI to, okay, we can save some money over here. It's going to reduce our time or our time to market on this or that, the other thing. But man, I'll tell you, when I get online, we're online all the time. I'm online in all these spaces on time with podcasts and shows and the brand and all that. And dude, the amount of like pushback on AI slop is enormous. And people are just like, no, we don't want it. I
Yeah.
mean, to the degree, it was just recently, I think OpenAI killed the whole Sora project.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, we're not going to do the Sora project anymore. It's like, because it's not making money, people don't like it.
Yeah.
So if quick business note, if people aren't liking something that you're doing or seeing, this is a note to myself too, stop doing it, right? Stop doing the things that people don't like.
Yeah. Even if you love it, you got to choose what everyone else likes at the end of the day in
Yeah.
business. So,
Well, let's talk about Sand Dog Scrubs a little bit. So let's talk about who your customer profile is. You're doing pressure washing. Most people already know what a pressure washing is, but there are some surprising things that you told me in our conversation together that you guys offer some discount or at no cost pressure washing. So let's talk about that first, because you guys actually have like a service first to the community approach, and I love that. I love that because you're saying like, yeah, our business does well over here. We're going to service you, but we're going to help these agencies over here. Let's talk about that in a minute.
yeah. So, of course, we service the real estate niche, the market, the commercial properties, residential homeowners. But then the whole other aspect that a lot of people are finding out about us is we clean fire stations for free, churches for free. We're working on police stations for free. And we're blasting out to a bunch of them about, hey, we want to clean these places. You guys served for us. It's now time for us to give back in any means we can. A lot of people at the same time don't give back in the ways that they really think. And so for us, me really giving back to these different areas and different places is because of the conversation. It's not because I'm cleaning the place. It's because I get to have a conversation with these people. Aspect, the wristband I wear on my wrist all the time says 22 veterans a day is too many to Valhalla Project. For me, we've lost friends to suicide in the military. And one thing my uncle told me was the conversation of the one guy who was walking in, I forgot what town, but he's walking and all he wanted was one person to say, hey, give him a handshake, wave at him, anything. Nobody did that. So for me, I know that one conversation could save someone's life. So if I can go to these fire stations, these police stations that are high stress, they're giving back to the community, they're doing so much and they're really not given enough for what they do for our community. And I can go have a great conversation with them, clean their place, make this place look fantastic and represent them and show, hey, this place is clean and it looks amazing, but also go shake their hand and have a great conversation and really get down to like how their life is, what's going on. You never know, that could save a life or it could just improve their day. Anything to me is a win-win if it helps them. So
That's awesome, man. That is definitely way more than pressure washing and just making just more than beautifying a place.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just sitting here listening to you, and it's evident that you really just you care about the people that are not only serving our communities, but also you just care about serving them, and you care about doing a good job at high quality service, and fulfilling your promise.
Mhm.
It does not surprise me at all that that would come from the way you've described your father to me as well, and
Yeah.
your upbringing. It does not surprise me at all. That's 100% congruent. I want to talk. I want to ask you what is something that has been so unique or has happened in the company's short history that maybe you didn't expect that you're surprised by. Like, is this something that has been rewarding that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect this to be something as a benefit being a business owner, but wow, this is great. Is there something
Yeah.
that comes to mind?
It's the community that you're built around. Is who you meet, how you meet them. My everyday life went from high school and working a job to now I get to go drive places, talk to people, have a great time. As an example, on Wednesday, I was in Mexico for a 1 day trip, giving back to orphans, going through manufacturing facilities because I met one person who's also my other mentor, Michael Rutherford, who is also partnered with Cody for me. And I never expected any of this. I never expected how many hands I'd shake, how many people really like me for who I am and how authentic I can be. And with my father, I'm very blunt and sarcastic at times. I know how to control it, but I am very blunt, and everyone really likes that because they know when they hear it from me, I'm just giving them the straight truth. So for me, I never expected the community that it was built around. And it's really nice because the community is a lot of people who are really into health, who are really into their mental, making sure that they're focusing on what they need to. And you really are you are the sum of the five people you're surrounded by. That's one thing I've noticed with who I'm around. So community would be my answer. I was never expecting it.
What's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you on a job? You have something that sticks out, you're like, "Oh, that was weird," like that, or maybe an odd job, or like, "Why would someone pay me to clean this thing?" Or whatever.
We've had some interesting places in Rancho Santa Fe. We had to sign NDAs on where they were at specifically. It wasn't about what was on the property, but we've walked in and this guy used to own this clown manufacturing facility, and he had freaky clowns everywhere. And by the time it got dark, I'm walking around and I don't normally get scared at all, but when you turn a left around a bush and there's just a light that turns on because it's automatic censored and there's a clown statue right there, it'll make you jump.
No,
Whether you're
man.
6'4" or
No.
3 foot, you will
Nope.
jump. I was
Nope.
not expecting that. So that was the weirdest one we've ever had. That was about a year and a half ago. Surprised I'm still doing this after that 1 day.
Hard pass.
Yeah,
Hard
yeah.
pass. That's crazy.
Yeah. I
Okay.
wish I had videos of it, but they wouldn't allow
Well,
us to
yeah, no, I
release.
understand why. Yeah, I understand why you'd be giving away the surprise or
Yeah,
the startle. Dude,
it's
that's
tricky.
okay. Yeah, that wasn't expecting that. I've never heard anybody
You
say
see
anything
some
like that in
you
here.
see some interesting places
That's
here in San
crazy.
Diego, especially Rancho Santa Fe when you're driving through these grand gates and you're
Yeah.
like, how does this place even exist? And it has
Right.
lines on the front of the gates, and you're like driving through and you're like,
Wow.
how does a house this big in San Diego? First off, it's so expensive out here. It's like, how does someone own this place? And then for those to be what you see when you first drive in, it's a little startling.
So what are you pressure washing at these huge mansions? Are you just doing the exterior of the main house, or is it outbuildings? What are you cleaning on these large, expansive places?
Yeah, so we clean the flat surfaces, the walls, the roof. So we do the pressure washing, roof cleaning, solar panel cleaning, window cleaning, everything you see on the outside of a house we clean, whether it's rust, efflorescence, everything, which is nice. We're not just a one-stop service for one single service, but we encumber and do everything for it. So
So you have to have different treatments then based on the type of like whether it's like wrought iron versus concrete versus
mhm.
brick or versus stucco, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
nothing about pressure washing other than it's pressure washing.
Yeah,
I know that's
there's
it. I know the name.
yeah, there's pressure washing, which is for your harder surfaces, and then there's soft washing, which is for your soft surfaces, such as like stucco,
Hmm.
clay roofs. If you put too much pressure, it's going to demineralize the surfaces. Versus if you're soft washing, you're using a chemical treatment that'll basically kill the organic material. That's your moss, mildew, lichen, mold, contaminants that can either be slippery and cause hazards when it's rainy and wet out, and the mildew in the morning, especially on the coastal areas, or it's just also the view of the place, so the curb appeal boost factor, which is why we really fit into the real estate niche.
So are you guys getting called out a lot these days for helping prepare a place to go to be listed?
Yeah, that's about 90% of it is getting it prepared. And then the other aspect is for insurance companies, they'll close your insurance and cancel you if you don't have your roof cleaned, for say.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Because of fire hazard.
Yeah, fire hazard, as well as because if there's all this moss and mildew on your roof and it's that dark green, dark
Right.
brown, or orange, you can't see cracks underneath. So as we're actually cleaning the roofs, we're uncovering a ton of different cracks, which is why we also partner with multiple roofing companies as a way of going, hey, we do the cleaning. We also have companies that do free roof inspections because your insurance company is going to want it just in case. Because if
Wow.
there's covering it, that moss and mold and mildew holds water, so it'll slowly start seeping in. And then next, it's in your attic, causing issues, dry rotting the underlayment.
Yeah, now you have damage.
Yeah, that's a
Whoa.
whole domino effect of worse, worse, and worse
Yeah,
versus if
yeah.
you just take care of it. But most people don't look at their roof. They don't look at their solar panels. They don't look at anything because you don't know that it can even get
Well,
cleaned.
sure, I'm not going out to my roof or anything.
Yeah,
Like, I
exactly.
mean, I put my Christmas lights up. After all, that's it. I'm not even going to the roof for that. I'm just getting my tallest ladder
Yeah.
and then just stretching from there. But yeah, I'm not on my roof.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's talk about that a minute though, because roof repairs can be very expensive,
Mhm.
and some people don't have the money out of pocket to fix that. So, is there a certain, and I know this is a generalized question, so I know the answer could vary, but is there a specific age window where you start to see roof damage? Is it after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? When in all these roofs you're cleaning,
Mhm.
what age would you start telling people to start looking out for that?
A lot of the times it's after it's been on the roof for 10 years. Of course, it depends if there's trees in the area, if they're on the coastal, so they have a lot of mildew that's dripping down and causing that organic material to stick. So there are those underlying factors, but overall, it's normally about 10 to 15 years after the roof's been put on that you start seeing these green streaks really start getting thick and really coming down your roof ridge line, and they just drip. That'll also cause more on the concrete, the walls, and everywhere else that we also see.
So, what's your recommendation for people that you're mentioning that like 90% of your business is people pressure washing or soft washing the elements of the house to get it
Mhm.
prepared get it prepared to list.
Mhm.
For people who aren't going to sell their house, how often would you tell them they need to have their house cleaned?
Mhm.
Is this like a every 12 months thing? Every 36 months? How often do you recommend people do that?
Yeah, so for pressure washing services, we normally get called back out every 2 to 5 years for like ground surface. For your roof, you're normally okay for another 10 to 15 years, is what we see, especially with the roof costs, with how much they cost to replace nowadays. It's cheaper to just get it cleaned, maybe fix up a few areas if it's noticed instead of replacing a $50,000+ roof.
Yeah.
So,
How about the you mentioned solar panels too.
mhm.
So obviously them being covered up is going to affect how effective they are in
Yeah, the
generating power.
efficiency.
So how often, I know it could vary based on where you're in town and trees and all that. Like what's the general rule of thumb for how often you should have those cleaned off?
Yeah, the general rule is every 6 months to a year because all that pollen, that dirt that covers and basically the entire solar panel can decrease you anywhere from 5% to we cleaned a church actually for free and it was decreased just over 60% because there was such a thick layer. So it depends on how
Jeez.
tilted your panels are. Theirs were completely flat, had horrible drainage. And a lot of these places actually have this that we find out is these solar companies came in, tossed them on, they subcontracted it out to just some solar company who can install it and they're not doing it right, or they install the ground mounts wrong, and we look under and we're like, "Oh, these look horrible," and then now they have roof issues just because of that. So there's so many things that are coming off of solar panels. It's great if you have them and they're installed right and they're cleaned, you save money, but for the large majority of people, they don't know if there's issues. They don't even know that they can get cleaned. They're never
Wow.
told it, or they are told, "Hey, my solar company cleans them who installed them," and they're not even in business anymore.
Dang, that's
Yeah.
crazy. So let's talk about commercial real quick. So the kind of commercial buildings you're looking for are what?
So we work with boutique places such as Seaport Village. We've cleaned multiple facilities down there, even Shorebird that is over the water. So that was a fun one. Commercial facilities such as strip malls. We also work on your restaurants just for your health and safety and cautiousness of if it's wet. And then just entirely, honestly, every commercial building. We can work with anything. And if we specifically don't, such as like a large parking garage that might be like 5 to 10 stories tall, then you're probably going to have us and a few other people doing it so you can get it done in a timely manner. But we have all those connections to the people who can help.
Yeah. I know we had talked about this whole like drone pressure washing thing, and they were surprisingly very expensive from my recollection. But they have like an entire unit connected to a van, right? And then a
Yeah.
water source, and it's like scaling and not even scaling. It's just like flying up the side of the building and like pressure washing it. Like, what's the future of that? Do you think that's like a legitimate like potential solution for the market, or is it kind of more of a novel gimmick right now? And it's ultimately still going to be window washers on a catwalk, roping themselves down. What's your opinion on that?
I feel in the future, it's definitely going to be what happens, especially with AI taking over, is you can either have multiple employees, safety issues if someone falls, rope snaps, if a rod breaks, versus just setting up a quick drone that's using AI software. It can just look at something, clean it, and go on to the next place. So we could just be sending out drones with vans that maybe Elon Musk makes that are autonomous, and they're just driving with with a drone on top of it, cleans a building, and you don't even need people then. So it's definitely going to take over in the future, but right now with drones costing where anywhere from $40,000 to $70,000 per drone, the batteries are thousands of dollars to replace, and you have to replace those more frequently than you'd want to. It's just a very high budget to get into, and there's not enough of a market to get into it right now, but it is something guaranteed. In probably 10 years, we're going to probably have a few drones of ourselves cleaning the facilities.
Wow. That's crazy. I saw it, and I know I asked you because I was like, is this actually a real thing? Like, I didn't know. The old man moment, right? I guess, or maybe just a detached from the industry moment. I was like, is this even a real thing?
No,
Or is
it
this
was
someone
real,
just
yeah.
hypothesizing we could do this? Like, that's a real thing. What are you most excited about this year? You're coming up on your third year or third full year in business.
Mhm.
You're young. You've got the energy to be out at 17 and 23 networking events or 23 hit points a week.
Yeah.
What are you so excited about?
For me, it's to shake more hands, really travel the world, and give back in more ways than I could before. So, as an example, when I went to Mexico on Wednesday, we were feeding an orphanage, giving back to them, playing with these kids who never had a father, and just giving back in ways that I never thought I could. So, it's doing more fire stations, more police stations. We want to partner with a couple pro athletes who we already have a few contacts with, but we're always looking for more to be able to give back in the way that we want, but even more supersized and hit a bigger audience. So building social media platform, our brand stronger on my personal side and the business side, so we can reach out to more people. People are going to be more likely to be inspired to go out and do something in their own community if they see someone else who's 20 is willing to do it, or when I was 17 doing it originally. So I want to inspire the youth to be able to give back and help their communities more. Yes.
Why is that so important to you? Why is the giving back part so important to you as a brand? Because you're mentioning your brand and then also the personal brand. So I want to talk about that too. But why is it so important to you that there's a give back component to what you do?
I feel like in life, we live one life. My dad's always said, treat every day as if you're last because you never know when it'll be. And because we're such a small dot on this world with billions of people, and there's going to be billions more people when we're all gone, is I want to make at least an impact while I can, while I'm around. I grew up with my mother. She's 26 years working at Scripps La Jolla Hospital from babies, and seeing some of the families, what they're going through and hearing these stories. And then my mom had us working at food shelters when we were younger. Her and I used to go package food, give back. I've done Streets of Hope with one of my good friends who invited me. And when you really look around beyond just your bubble in your life, you realize how hard it is for a lot of people. So if I can make an impact and I can help just one person, it's worth it for me.
That's awesome, man. Let's talk about the whole personal brand versus business brand thing. Why is that so important? Again, you're 20 years old.
Mhm.
You grew up with phones. We did not grow up with cell phones. The first one I had was a flip phone, old school, like the one you look at the museum flip phone. Why is it so important to build a personal brand, even though you want your company to be the one that's hired and doing the work?
Mhm.
Talk about that.
Yeah, so nowadays, because there is so much social media and so much AI, people want to see you. They want to know it's actually you. And at the same time, I'm 20, I'm going to build multiple companies. I already have a few more right now. So right now I'm operating 4 different ventures, some of which are startups. One's an actual full company, including Sandbox Scrubs. So there's two main ones, two ventures. And for me, if I just build the business, that's great for this business, but then I'm gonna have to restart versus if I have a personal brand, everyone who's already following along the personal brand, when I talk about these other businesses that I'm a part of, because people trust me off of how authentic I am and where I'm at, they're instantly gonna go, oh, I can go see this other company. Oh, he's doing this and this and this. And I can kind of create more collaborations with that instead of it just being focused as one thing. So I can see me in the future having a ton of different companies versus just focusing on just the one.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I 100% see that too. I believe you're going to do it, man. You just have the right attitude. You have the right approach. The things you described definitely characterizes a pedigree of giving and caring for other people along the way, while also being part of a team. Playing ball, you got to be part of a team. You're gonna have your own individual stats, but you got to understand how to be on a team too. Sometimes the team wins, sometimes the team loses, but you carry all that into the next things you do. I absolutely see success for you on the horizon, even more than you have right now. Let's tell everyone what's the best way to reach you personally and also reach Stand Dog. So we'll put it in the description of the video. What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Yeah, best place to reach out to me is on my Instagram. It's Noah Burroughs with 3 S's at the end. Best place to reach out to me. I respond really quickly, normally within an hour. A lot of the times it's within like a few minutes. I sadly am on social media way more than I should be, but it is because of what I do that it helps me in so many ways. So it'd be reach out to me on Instagram.
All right, reaching out to Noah on Instagram, and then if you are in a position where you need, whether you yourself need something pressure washed, or you have a client that needs something pressure washed, commercial or residential, you're going to find the link to the Sand Dog scrubs in the description box below. Noah, I'm not going to give you another fist bump. I'm just going to say good job. Let's protect those shoulders in your recovery. Man, you poor guy, man. You had surgery and you get in a car accident. You're tough. You're a tough kid, bro.
It's been a crazy 20 years.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming in today. Thank you for coming to talk to us about Sand Dog scrubs. Thank you for sharing some of your story too. I appreciate that, and really grateful for your father instilling, well, both your parents, sorry, both your mom and your dad instilling those giving qualities in you as a young man, and then also you guys caring about the military community, the peace officer community, fire, and churches. I love that. I think it's super cool that you got something that you're doing that's beyond just the paycheck, beyond the bottom line of profit and loss, and you're looking to be a good community member. That means a lot to me, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you for demonstrating that, and also doing that at your age with a long life to come, man. So congratulations, you're killing it, and thank you for coming on to the show today.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on here as well.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, thank you all for watching this episode of Friends of Mortgage Heroes. If you're new to this channel, we have some fantastic friends in and around mortgage and real estate. Take a cruise through our playlist and check out amazing guests we have in all sorts of industries. So we even have nonprofits that we've had guests on here before that are all serving something in and around mortgage and real estate, in and around the active duty and the military space. So thank you all for watching. We will see you again with another great guest next week. Bye.